Apartments or condos, should I rent or should I own? Escrow.
Hey, welcome to the Real Estate After Dark. I'm your host, Larry Casselberry, and to my left and your right, we have
June King.
What's up, June? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Long week.
I know it's been a long week.
Yeah.
But we here. We're
here.
favored. We are here.
Yes.
I love it. So we got episode 2.
Yes. Exciting.
I know. 2 down. A lot more to go.
I was gonna put a number on it, but I don't think I should put a number on it.
But I do like where it's going. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that everybody out there in the world gets a chance to share this platform with us and see us take them on a journey. I know they're at home, they're relaxed. They got their flip flops on. They got their footies on.
Yeah.
And they people want to know about home ownership.
Right.
So I'm really excited about that, and we get a chance to catch up this week.
Right.
Awesome. I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
I'm happy to be here.
Cool.
And homeownership is like a huge investment, right?
Of
and
course.
so it's one of the biggest investments. And
The
so,
biggest,
yes.
I would say.
And so we're giving out information to help people, which is free, right? And
Yes.
so most people don't do that, right?
Okay.
And they just try to get you into something. And so we're giving out this information so we can advise everyone on how to do the biggest investments. I think it's phenomenal.
Quick question. Is the game to be sold or to be told?
Oh, you know what? I see little sayings, right? Especially like in the lending aspect,
Yes.
right? Because I told you, everyone should know I worked I worked more corporate at first.
Right.
And so that's what they used to say all the time. I think it's okay to share it.
Okay.
I do. I don't think that it's a game. I think it's okay to share it because it's a lot of information. So if you've never done this before, especially on the lending aspect, right? We have training all the time, right? So I can tell you information, and then next year it'd be different. So
it's true.
Yeah.
And the state.
Yes,
It'd be
so
totally
it's
different too.
So I think people should know. I think consumers are a little bit more advanced than they have been in the past because of the whole meltdown in the market. Everyone knows 2007, 2008. People were just, getting into those funny loans, which no one knew, because people were just refinancing, buy, sell quickly. Then the market crashed. And so I think consumers are more advanced now, which is a great thing.
They know how to protect themselves.
Yes.
Definitely. Well,
Yes.
cool. What's going on, Big Paul? What's going on, man?
Good.
You good?
I'm all good.
Awesome.
Yeah, good.
Awesome, man. I love me some Paul. Well, cool. Well, this first segment we're going to go into frequently asked questions this show. So I think this is going to be pretty awesome. I think people want to know, what is it about me buying a house? So we're really going to get a chance to kind of dig in that today. This segment is sponsored by U.S. Health. Carlos Qualls is a licensed health care benefits advisor here in Texas, but he also is licensed in Arizona, Arkansas, Illinois, Kansas, Louisiana, Nevada, Oklahoma, Utah, and Virginia. Carlos offers one-on-one assistance in helping to give people peace of mind with their health care. He specializes in small businesses, but has several individual clients as well. His plans offer assistance with monthly premiums and deductibles. They utilize the Cigna network in order to make sure their clients are taken care of no matter the circumstance. Direct contact 817-630-1842. That's 817-630-1842, or email carlos.qualls@ushealthadvisors.com. That's carlos.qualls@ushealthadvisors.com. And man, my buddy Carlos, I've known him for years. I mean, if you just know of anybody that really wants to get their policy looked over, he's a really good contact of mine. I
think it's good to have. Because you get penalized now for not having health insurance on your taxes.
That is true.
Yeah,
that's true. And he also offers incentives. So if you recommend anybody, get at them. That's a little bit of incentive in there, and I like incentives.
Right. And the preventive care, right? Having the health insurance being, before you don't wait until you get sick. Just like you have car insurance, right? So you don't wait until you get in an accident to have auto insurance, right? So it's important. Health insurance is important. The older I get, the more I think,
Yeah, I mean, we got to have people take us through situations. If I get hurt or I get sick and I'm in the hospital, what's that going to cost me?
Right.
We want to know the bottom line.
$1 million.
Yeah, how much is that going to be? Some people say, oh, you just need this. Just get it. No, how much it's going to cost me big time.
Right.
So I love that. But can we get real quick?
Let's be real.
Okay, let's get it right quick. Let's get into these FAQs.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Should I talk with a bank before I buy a house?
Absolutely.
Or even start looking at a house?
Absolutely. Because the reason why it's important is because you don't want to be disappointed.
Okay.
I see it. So, for example, if you can only qualify for a $200,000 home, but you're looking at a $400,000 home, of course, the $400,000 is going to look a lot different than the $200,000 home. So I've seen this before.
Okay.
Because a lot of people, what they do is they start looking first before they get pre-approved. And then they're disappointed. And then when they're disappointed, they feel discouraged because they can't qualify. Instead of just doing the pre-approval process, know where you are and start looking at homes. Because I'm pretty sure you'll like some homes that'll work in your budget.
Yeah.
I see it. And when I say I see it all the time, and they get disappointed because I'm like, listen, of course you like that 400. I like that $400,000 house.
Yes.
But your budget is $230,000. Now you can find a really nice home, but at that point they got their mind made on the $400,000. They see all the amenities for $400,000, and they like
get them numbers.
Yeah, they like them numbers. You know? Yeah. And a lot of times I get people. Okay, Zillow. Okay, so the reason why it's really important to have a realtor. Right. To have a realtor is because Zillow is not a realtor. Okay. So I know it's a good site to kind of look at. Right.
Facts.
And so what Zillow has is they only have the principal and interest payment.
Right.
They don't have all the payments on there. They don't have the taxes. They don't have homeowners insurance.
Which varies from county to county.
Yes. How much money you put down, you have to pay private mortgage insurance, but we'll talk about that on a different episode. Of course. And things like that.
PMI.
So So it's important to have a realtor so that realtor can explain. And then that home might not even be available.
That is true. Yeah. I love it.
Yes.
Great. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Absolutely. Okay. And so cost, inspection, title fees, escrows, down payment, and closing costs. So we kind of hit on that a little bit on what
about the cost.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you meet a client, do you tell them about the inspection at first? Is that do you require everyone to do an inspection?
Not necessarily. I think, being a seasoned agent as myself, a lot of times you can go on those situations and kind of know, from your eye. And it's all about, making it a partnership with you and your client on what's the home health of the house is like.
Okay.
Or even a buyer, if I was on a buying aspect and I got a chance to like show people houses and then really walking through with them with just an overall perspective of home health and what I've seen, over the years when it comes to just home health. It's all about just really stating the obvious of things, but really working with them to make it the ultimate decision for them on finding the right home.
Right.
And a lot of times for me, it's more or less put it in terms of dollars and cents.
Right.
I'm really more of a dollars and cents guy and then move on. So it's like, wow, okay, this kitchen, what you're telling me is going to need some upgrades. Okay, let's talk about, what that would factor into your buying process of how much money you would have that you are willing to spend. So, what you say, roughly 15,000 would take us to take this kitchen up a notch, and you're like, yeah, 15,000. Hey, are you willing to, put 15,000 into this kitchen, or are you willing to try to find and look for a house that you don't have to put in 15,000? So it's really all about just walking through with the client, what they like, the dislikes, and then allocating to make the best decision.
All right. I think I agree with that. And then also to a wise woman that wasn't in the industry, she told me is that typically you have 30 years to live in this home. So don't expect to put everything, like fix everything within the first year. Because you have 30 years. So you take phases. So I agree with that. Okay, so Larry, let's talk about this because I hear this a lot. And I hear this a lot from my clients too. And I have a different perspective on it, but I really want to know what's your perspective on it. Should I buy or continue to rent?
Man, that's a loaded question because it's definitely an individual question, but it's more of a question of comfortability, I would say. It's really all about, where you are in your career, where you are with your family, and do you see your family growing? For one, when you start looking at it from a financial perspective, saying that, hey, I'm allocating a lot of my, money, each month to someone else's house.
Right.
Someone else's property. So you have questions like, man, would I like to start gaining equity, that is mine? So it's really, I think that from an overall standpoint, it's really back to the numbers and it's affordability really for me. And then when you start to allocate things that's going on in your life and what you can predict and not predict, then it's more or less like, you know what, I can afford it.
Right.
You know, I can afford it. And that's why we have people like you that are, you know, that would love to take people out and just, you know, I'm not a financial advisor or anything, but
me either.
Yeah. You know, don't call asking me about, you know, hey,
but
I should buy that Tesla big time. I'm like, I don't know, man.
No, wait till you buy the house.
Yeah, exactly. So no, don't ask me about that. But I think that, you know, it's really a more of a decision that you really have to allocate, like where you're going to be past, present, future,
right? And
then more affordability. And are you ready to take on those responsibilities of what it takes for, you know, with carrying a house? Because house definitely has, you know, it's hidden cost in there with maintenance,
right?
And also, you know, but the biggest thing for me is just it's definitely a really good investment opportunity for yourself, and then also start building some equity. So,
because people always say when I tell them, because I factor in, so you have. When you make a mortgage payment, you have your principal and interest, then you have your taxes, and then you have your homeowner's insurance. And if you don't put a certain amount of money down, you have, which is that private mortgage insurance. Right. So your payment consists of 4 components, right? So when people say, well, I thought they said it was cheaper to rent than buy. And so what I do is I try to get them to compare like apples and oranges, right? Yep. You know, if you're living in a 1-bedroom apartment, it's $800, but you buy a house, it's $1,300 to $1,400. A house is at least starting at a 3-bedroom, right? And so do you kind of tell your customer, do you ever get that like question like, I thought it was cheaper to buy than rent?
Right. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. But when you start allocating all of those other things that are, you know, things that are tax-free, you know what I mean? Yeah. Things that you're not paying additional things on and interest and things on. So those things start to add up. And you do have to have someone that's a little bit more knowledgeable to break those things down for you to see where you're kind of investing in yourself. And so I think it's very, it's beneficial. You just have to see where it could work for you in your budget. Right. You know, I wouldn't take you out to your house. You go, I love it. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see where this works for you financially. Yes. So I'm having them calling you and say, hey, can you run these numbers for me and see what it looks like based on, you know, my pre-approval and what it would look like. And so people are seeing those numbers and like, okay, well, let's go for it. Yes. We can't go for it without, without looking at the numbers.
The numbers is important. The numbers are definitely important.
But it's also great to set the expectation up front. And that's what I think that's you really have to do as a realtor. You have to set the expectations. You have to set the levels of where we're going to go at and making sure we have the right house for you. Because I don't want to let anybody down. But what I do want to do is I want to set you up for success and letting people know that this is a partnership.
I like what you said, setting that right expectations, because that's the biggest thing is I remember when I first got in the industry, just wanted to please everyone. So I really wasn't setting up the right expectation because I thought that it was benefiting the client. Right. Then everyone gets frustrated at the end, right? And so setting the right expectation is huge. Right. I set that up from the beginning and throughout the whole process. Right. So that's a good point.
Yeah, I learned that from my mentor, Darian Hall. He was like, man, you know, part of our job is it's risk assessment, but it's also being a, what was the word he used? Managing emotions. You know what I mean? Yes. Managing emotions. So it's always, my idea of what managing emotions could be different than your idea of managing emotions. Right. So it's really good to kind of set that expectation when you're going to go through, the inspection process and things of that nature. When we get the appraisal back, what does that look like? Right. And things of that nature. Oh, they're countering us, on an offer for a house. What does that look like? And things of that nature. Oh, the repairs. Oh, how are we going to figure that out? Right. So yeah, it's managing emotions and managing emotions if things don't go in your favor, because it is going to, Yeah. You know how this business is. Some things are unfavorable. Yes. And some things are. So I just say you got to have more wins than you have losses. You do. That's why I would go on. So let me ask you a question. What is an earnest money deposit?
I get that question a lot.
Like Ernest? Is that somebody's name?
Right. Right. So
my cousin named Ernest.
Right.
Yeah.
Ernest Jean. Okay?
Yeah. Ernest gonna get his money.
So Ernest, and so a lot of people get this a lot, right? Why I gotta put earnest money down? So earnest money is just kind of like a good faith deposit. Yeah. So say you purchase a home and it's $100,000, and it's typically 1%, right? Yeah. So you put $1,000 down. you don't lose the $1,000.
Yeah, it's like a down payment,
so
right?
if you have to put $4,000 down on your home, they're gonna deduct the earnest money, which is the $1,000. That just kind of gives good faith. It's like, if you just think about it, if you were selling a house,
right,
and if no one had any skin in the game, then they could just walk and it doesn't affect them. But if you got $1,000 in the game, you ain't gonna so easily walk because you saw another house.
Right.
So it's kind of like, it's a protection for the seller, and it's a little bit of protection for you, because then you don't have to worry about them actually going out there trying to get someone else to buy the house that you put a contract on. So it makes the contract legal. Yeah,
of course. And even on my end, I've seen, double earnest deposits. I've seen stronger earnest deposits, and it's a external way of communicating. Hey, this person is serious. They're vested. They want to move forward. So yeah, I mean, that earnest.
The earnest, yeah. The earnest is important though. So everyone, I don't think that they in their mind mentally get that, but after I explain it to them, they get it back. Right. They just subtract it. It's just kind of, they're like, oh, I've never heard that. And I'm like, yeah. Right. So that's a fee that you want to be expecting to pay when you find a home, because you already have your down payment, right?
Definitely.
And let's use the down payment assistance. But a lot of times you still have to bring, even when you use the down payment assistance, you still have to bring some money. So you want to have a little safety net.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Okay, Larry, so who pays these realtor fees when buying a home?
In most cases, it's the seller that's paying. So, when I talk to a lot of my buyers, when we're having our consultations, they're like, man, do we got to pay you? I'm like, no, I'm free. They're like, what? So it'd be surprising how many people you ask that question. My buyers, they think that, they're paying for your services.
Right.
The seller is paying me. So you're like, I don't work for free, but I'm definitely going to give you, the best representation that I totally can. So with me, it's really going through and letting them know, upfront what that looks like, from perspective, and then going back and peeling the layers and letting them know what they're going to get.
Right.
They're going to get someone that's going to go out and lobby in their favor to get the best home, get a clean contract. And what I mean by a clean contract, something that's going to look very favorable for the seller. This person, hey, here's the earnest money, communicating with the other real estate agent, letting them know they have a compliant realtor on the other side. Yeah. Because it's definitely a big part of our job is to work with compliant people in this industry.
Yes.
And communicating that with your buyers who you're partnering with, one of the biggest financial transactions they will ever do,
Yes.
And so it's just letting them know that, hey, I've done this a while. There's going to be certain scenarios that's going to be we're going to have to manage those emotions, but hey, you got someone that's definitely qualified, someone's competent, that's going to help them win in their situation. So, well, I mean, yeah, it's free, man.
It's free.
It's free. But
that's awesome.
But there's also another end to it. With just helping out on the buyer side. There's a lot of incentives out there for people that are looking for homes when they're talking to realtors. So a lot of times I would urge, if you're looking for a house and you do have a buyer's agent that's helping you find one, hey, ask them, hey, do you offer any rebates or any incentives with me, with you helping us find a home? It's not a bad question to ask.
Right.
And a lot of times I like to do it on the front side and not having them ask me.
Right.
So if anybody's ever interested on what those incentives or what those rebates look like, feel free to reach out to me, and I can not that it's different in every case, but there's people need help in different kind of ways.
I agree. So, I mean, because the market is different.
Yeah, it is.
And so sometimes you do need some assistance. Right. And so tell them, Larry, how can they contact you? Even though they should know because they're subscribed to our podcast. Yes. But in case you're new.
Well, that's the easiest, the easiest way is definitely reach us out through our Real Estate After Dark podcast on Facebook. Definitely love to talk to you directly there.
Or Instagram.
Or Instagram too. Yep. Real Estate After Dark on Instagram.
And I told Larry today he need to get a Twitter. Now I don't know how to do that Twitter.
About that Twitter. But, if anybody out there knows how to work that Twitter game, I used to be live back in the day on it, but if anybody knows how to, give me a quick tutorial to get back on there,
I'm pretty sure, Larry, you'll be able
I
to
can
get
figure it out.
You can figure it out.
I just go back in there. You be trying to figure out your old usernames. Like, I need to change that up.
A lot of politicians are on there, so maybe they can give you some points.
I don't know. They be moving around a lot in those ages.
Right.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What is the difference between pre-qualifying and pre-approval?
Okay, good question.
Okay.
So pre-qualifying is what I give you.
Okay.
Pre-approval is what the underwriter gets you. A lot of times.
Hold on. We got to get real.
Okay.
Because I feel.
Let's be real.
We got to get real.
I'm
sorry. I had to stop you for a minute.
Okay.
Okay. Get real.
Okay.
Rewind it back for me again. Go.
So I'm about to go in depth.
Somebody out there is like, okay.
Okay, I'm about to get in depth.
Let's be real.
Right.
So the pre-qualification is what the loan officer, what I will provide, right? The pre-approval is what the underwriter will provide, right?
Okay, and the underwriter works for you.
The underwriter is the one that approves the loan, part of the process. So this after you find a home, then the underwriter approves the loan. But what we do and what I do, a lot of loan officers don't do this, but what I do is we have, which is called a desktop underwriting system. Okay. So I collect all your income docs and I calculate it like an underwriter.
Okay.
And then when I calculate it like an underwriter, then I know what the underwriter is looking for. And I'm conservative because sometimes you can send it to the underwriter and once you find the property, and then the underwriter can kind of put it back a little bit. And so you want to make sure that the person is 100% qualified. And then I also ask for the income documents because if you're not invested at the front, then you're not going to be invested in through the process. Okay. And I want to make sure your income, because, people don't really know what they make. I know these are some rich folks out here, okay? Oh, man. Because they say if my check is short a cent, I'm going to be like, HR, I need to know.
Can I get that money back?
Yeah, so people really don't know. So it's basically, so I don't want people to get afraid because a lot of people don't know, right?
Right.
So because they're like, I want the pre-approval, but it's really difficult. It's not difficult to get the pre-approval, but if you can submit it to the underwriter, and usually I will submit it to the underwriter if the file looks really shaky, right?
Okay.
Just to make sure they qualify, but because the property you haven't found the property yet,
right?
It could take days because the underwriter is working on
things. It's based
off
of that property.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the underwriter is, when you submit a file to underwriting, if you don't have an address, then they don't see it as a priority. And so they will work on other stuff. And so that could take days. For me, I could just do your pre-qualification within hours.
So you have kind of like a filter of underwriting already built in what you do.
Yes, I do.
So and based on a case-by-case situation, you can kind of know what to ask for up front.
I do.
Because you've seen it.
I do.
You've seen it enough.
We have an underwriting system too.
You'd be like, underwriter's going to ask for this.
Yes. Underwriter has a system. Yeah. We do have a system that the underwriter uses as well. So we can read that and kind of tell. But we've been doing it for so long, so we know kind of what the things that they're going to want. Like if somebody has child support.
Right.
I don't have to read that. I know that they're going to ask for the court order.
Right.
Okay. So they're going to want to show proof on what the actual payment is, right? Because it could be different from the pay stub, right? And if somebody receives alimony, I know the underwriter going to see if they're going to receive it for the next 3 years. So I already know what type of documentations that they ask. So we ask lots of questions. Right. Like I get down deep and dirty with you because I ask lots and lots and lots of questions. You have to. So I get real personal.
Okay. Let me ask you. This is off the radar, but I want to ask you this question. Where do you draw the line? Realtor, lender, the person that we're helping out, from a house perspective, from a financial perspective. Where do you see that line? Because some people out there are like, financially, I'm communicating with this person. And then from a house perspective, I'm communicating with that person. Does that cross over a lot for you? Because, from my perspective, a little bit, but, from an expectation standpoint, I try not to go to that side. So
I like everyone to stay in their lane, right?
Okay.
And so, because it makes it very difficult if you're trying to process and underwriting like I am, right?
Of course.
And so I don't really tell the client's information to you.
Of course.
Right? That's not the only time that you will find out something is going on if the client is being difficult, we can't provide this, or a snag came that the customer forgot about or just didn't know. And I was like, okay, this might, I need you to help me with this. So normally, so that way it don't get complicated, because it can get complicated.
It can.
If I call you, be like, Larry, I need this, and that. You be like, oh, okay, let me get that. So so I know how to handle that situation. I usually collect everything up before they find a home.
And some people want that. Some people want that confidentiality, and I love that. Up front, just getting that. Whether it's permission, to continue with that confidentiality.
Yes.
So I love that, because as me as a realtor, it really helps me focus on doing things that's more realtor based and creating the experience.
Right.
So man, I love that. I mean, I had to jump in there and get real.
I know
on that one, because I just felt like people out there are answering that question.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about segment 2. Okay, so the drawings, right?
Okay,
and
yes. How many people did we get to sign up on our Facebook?
So we got,
what's the number?
273.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That's
so
impressive.
we're moving.
I love it.
Let's be real.
Let's be real and
we
double
want
it.
more.
Let's double it. Double it.
And
that's awesome. Thanks everybody for the support, because I really think that, with this platform, it's growing. And I'm seeing it growing, from the past week, and I'm just super excited to get to, people are reaching out and say, man, you can come be on TV. I said, I think I am.
I told my dude with my autograph, I'm telling you.
So, but I think it's really cool, because I think that people get to see us in a different perspective, and also people want to know what's going on out there in this market.
Absolutely.
So we got more stuff coming, but how many on Instagram?
79.
Real Estate After Dark on Instagram. 79.
So that means
I love it. We got some work to do.
We got some work. I know, but I'm not like a really Instagram person.
Yeah.
We need to post some more pictures.
But it's different. Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will. I mean,
I got
it's all about you guys reach out to us and what you would like to see, in content wise. You want to see more videos of us, interacting throughout the day, or you guys would like us to post like statistics, whatever. However you guys like to be communicated. It seems like a lot of people like to communicate through Facebook.
Yes.
Totally fine with that. No problem. But if you want to be, communicate more on Instagram, hey, reach out to us. Ask, definitely email us in some questions, or, definitely interact with us, because part of our job is interacting with people. So I think it's awesome.
Just get to kind of know like your question, because like buying a home could be the most scariest part of your life, right?
Yeah.
What you think. But when you have someone, I tell people this all the time, it's gonna be a bumpy ride, because it's the first time, right? And it's so much information, right? But the thing is, we're here for you, and we're gonna walk you through this process. And so some people are scared, right? And so I tell them, don't be scared. I like for you to ask me questions.
Yeah.
And even if you decide that this year is not the right year for you, but ask me questions throughout that whole year to get you prepared.
Game planning.
Yes, game planning. That is. Okay, so one of the things is, because Larry like to give out gifts.
I do. I do.
And so, I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but Larry like so Larry, when I got here earlier.
This is inauguration. I mean, I love it.
Yes. So when I got here, Larry wanted me to be prepared for these questions. So we pulled 5 names, and it wasn't like we didn't do this on purpose. So the 5 names that we pulled, the first one is Ainsley Lowndes. Okay, and then the second one is Carrie Smallwood. Happy birthday, Carrie!
Happy birthday,
and
big sis.
Yes, and I actually pulled her name. So I know you heard big sis. So I don't know if you think we like Larry did over here trying to slide people in.
I know, right?
Yes. And then the third one is Kathy Cooper. She has another last name because she got married about 5 or 6 years. I can't never say that last name. I just know Coop.
Don't mess it up.
Right.
I know you.
Coop, Kathy Cooper. And the fourth one was Sean Brown.
SB.
And then the last one is Tiffany Sanders.
Tiffany Sanders. All right.
Congratulations. You guys were the first 5 followers of our, and so we really appreciate it.
Love it. Love it.
And so we're going to send out a gift for you this week.
Yes.
And so we're going to get all your information, and we don't need too much personal, because you're not buying a home right now, but we need to get, so we be able to get this gift out to you.
Yeah.
And then also too, we're going to talk about episode 3.
Okay.
So episode 3, the buyer seminar. We're going to do a buyer seminar.
Yes.
So Larry and I came up with a date, and you're going to hear this date often.
A lot.
Okay.
Yes.
Because we're going to promote it. I think it's going to be really great information. So the date is going to be May 25th.
May 25th.
2019. Right?
2019. Yes.
And so, so Larry and I are going to talk about times because we haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking early. You may think later, but the times. And so tomorrow, what we're going to, not tomorrow, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like next week, we're going to talk about tips for home buyers.
Yes, I love it. We're going to maybe do 10 plus. I know there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, so 10
There's
plus.
a lot of them out there. Yes, definitely. So in my realtor friends out there, they got some really good tips. Feel free to hit me up. Let's have coffee. Let's talk.
Right. Email.
Let's email. Let's do it. Let's
Facebook
connect.
us.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
But I'm excited about that home buyers thing. That's going to be awesome. I mean, they get to talk to you. They get to talk to me. They get to meet some new people.
Yeah.
So it's going to be live. Yeah, free food. It's going to be live. Yes.
It's going to be live. And so we're going to, it's going to be really fantastic.
It may be a party.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to do pre-approvals on the spot.
We sure will.
Yes.
We want to change some lives. I think that's going to be really important, but also giving people a sense of like, wow, I mean, this process can actually happen for me.
Right.
Right. So with me being a homeowner, you being a homeowner, being through, various transactions and seeing that enlightenment on people's face. I mean, it's what keeps me going.
Right.
I wouldn't lie if I didn't say a part of it was monetary, monetarily, but it is the beauty of home ownership and having something that's yours and sharing it with your family for the first time. Man, that's amazing to me.
And doing whatever you want to do to your house.
That's true.
Yes.
That's awesome. So, man, we got episode 3 coming up. That's awesome. Man, what do you got going on this week?
Nothing much. So I guess we're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah, we can definitely wrap it up. Definitely. Well, man, as much as I enjoy having you here, let's catch up, and we'll be ready for next episode 3.
Yes, home buyer seminar May 25th. Next episode, tips for home buyers. Thanks for following us.
Thank you guys.
Let us know if you need anything. Be blessed.